With God, all things are possible. We all face obstacles. What I've learned from the Bible, especially from David and Goliath situations, is that the giants, they fall. But they only fall when we confront them in the power and strength that God gives us. We're facing a lot of giants right now as a country, as people, as individuals. But the truth of the matter is that no matter how big a giant is, it's not bigger than the God who's with us. This is what David learned. It wasn't that David was perfect or that David was flawless in everything that he done. But one thing that he did do in the situation where he faced Goliath was he trusted God. He believed that God was the mightiest weapon that you can have on your side, that the presence of God tips the scales in our favor. And he knew that by believing in God and by having an intimate relationship with God, he knew that his God would not let him down. He knew that if he was fighting against the enemy, against somebody who opposes God, against somebody who was not a part of the people of God, that that person wouldn't have the upper hand. And so when we're fighting against the enemy or against our temptations, our struggles, our battles, our addictions, our fights in life, the financial issues that we might have, the relationship issues, the struggles that we might have as believers, we battle with different things that we know that God won't be pleased with, but we just can't seem to overcome those things. Those are giants in our lives, like the pride, the lust, the fear, the worry, the anxiety, the different things that we battle with. But what I've come to learn is that in the midst of all these things that I've really trumped up and that I've really had difficulties with, that all of them pale in comparison to the size of the God that I serve, and that his mighty hand is always able to deliver me, that he's always able to bring me out. He's always able to help me overcome. I remember when it seems like the Apostle Paul was getting a big no from God when he was asking him to remove that thorn in his flesh. Remember? But God's answer to him wasn't just no, I'm not going to remove it. He also said, my grace is sufficient for you. My strength is made perfect in your weakness. So as our weaknesses are exposed by the giants that we face, like David's weakness was exposed, that he was a small boy, that he was not a seasoned warrior, that he didn't have the weapons that Goliath had. All those things were exposed when he stepped out on the battlefield against this seasoned warrior and giant, right? But in the midst of those things being exposed, God was glorified, and David was now portrayed as a mighty warrior because he prevailed against this Goliath, somebody who everybody else was afraid of. And if we remember that as we face our giants, and people are going to look at our situations, they're going to look at our circumstances, they're going to say, wow, you overcame that. You defeated that. You got past that. And we'll have an opportunity to glorify God, to praise his name, to tell people about the strength God gave us or the wisdom God gave us or how he carried us through an impossible situation, which is what God does. So no matter what impossible situation you're facing right now, what kind of giant you're coming up against, know this: all things are possible with God. And as long as God is with you and he's accompanying you on your journey, there's nothing that can defeat you. I remember reading about Gideon in the book of Judges, and as somebody that chose to trust God after God revealed to him that when he's present with you, you're a whole different person, and you have a whole different power and strength about yourself when you're walking with God than if you're walking by yourself. And as Gideon walked with God through life and obeyed God and did what God said, if you read through the book of Judges, you'll realize that Gideon never lost a battle, and that the people of Israel were victorious, and that they were free from all their oppressors, and they lived in victory all the years where he was their leader. It's because he trusted God and he obeyed him and he followed the instructions that God gave him. And if we align ourselves with God in the same way and choose to trust in him and not lean on our own understanding, not look to our own strengths, then we'll experience the same kind of victories in our daily life as Gideon did, as David did. We will prevail. I don't want you to be discouraged. And my goal is to encourage you to become the champion that God has called you to be. You want to walk in victory, you got to walk with God. This is Pastor Tone signing out. Stay blessed, stay encouraged, and stay tuned in.